Hey guys, if you're new to the world of PC building or you bought a pre-built and now you're looking to upgrade, you may be like me a couple years ago, looking at all the available parts and all the numbers and thinking, what the hell am I looking at? Well, no worries, because this is the first video in a series where I'll try to help alleviate some of the confusion. And to start with, I'll talk a little about CPUs, GPUs, and how to understand what you're looking at. You may or may not be aware that everyone has recently released their new generations of parts, with the exception of AMD's new GPUs, which will be here in the middle of next month, December 13th, I believe. To start off, I'll use NVIDIA's GPUs as my main example of generations and price points, because they're kind of the easiest to understand, I think. But know that basically everything else follows the same basic principle. So when I first got into PCs, I was under the assumption that each new generation was entirely better than the last from the bottom up, meaning that I thought a 3060 should be better than a 2080, simply because it's a newer generation. But this is far from the case. Each generation, such as the 20 series, 30 series, and now 40 series GPUs from NVIDIA, come with price points for different use cases. Take the 30 series, for example. You have the 3050 and 3060. These are budget and entry-level graphics cards. These are fine for anybody that's doing basic office work, or gamers playing in 1080p, or just playing games that aren't very graphically intensive. I mean, they're still pretty good cards. They'll run most games on lower graphics, but if you're looking for high settings, probably 1080p. Moving up, you have the 3070 and 3080. These are your mid to high level graphics cards and great for anybody gaming in 1440p and for streamers using a single PC setup. I personally have a 3070 Ti in mine. The 3090, I think, is far more than any gamer really needs, unless you're playing in 4K, which I don't really recommend because you're not going to get super high frame rates. If you still want to, then go ahead. The card is more geared towards people doing 3D rendering work. You'll also notice that there are cards that say Super or TI after the number. These essentially fall in between cards. So for instance, my 3070 Ti falls in between a 3070 and a 3080. As I said, this basic idea of slight generational improvement along with performance and price points can be seen across all brands of CPUs and GPUs. The only real difference is the numbers that they use to label them. On average, you'll see about a 15 to 20% improvement in performance when comparing cards from different generations at the same price point. So in other words, a 3060 is definitely better than a 2060 by about 15 to 20% generally. Oh, and one more thing before I end this video. Make sure before you run out and buy new parts that they're going to be compatible with what you have. Meaning, make sure you have the right motherboard for the processor that you want to buy, or if you're going to go out and get a new graphics card, make sure that you have a power supply that can sufficiently power it along with everything else in your system. And also, especially with the 4090 coming out recently, check dimensions to make sure that it'll fit in your case. Any questions or complaints, make sure you put them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. Until the next one, happy building and happy gaming, everyone.